In today's show, we're taking a look from Mattel, Viking He-Man, and the Masters of the Universe, New Eternia. Stay tuned. Now, welcome back to the show, guys. Welcome back. And if you heard the dramatic intro, it was just me trying to be like the original voice of He-Man. Introduction, John Irwin. I was trying to do that. So let me know if I failed or if I passed in the comments. Whichever you guys want to do. So here we are. Welcome to R.P.Animations. I'm your host, Red. And I'm sure that you guys are sitting back there shocked that it's not a Mcfarlane, but I'm doing He-Man. Yes, I'm doing a He-Man, and please don't fall out of your chairs or, get it cracking if you're falling down your bicycle hearing this. Let's jump in why I'm doing this. First of all, I was exploring as to what the action figures would look like in this day and age, and I saw the classics were given, I believe, knee articulation and even arms articulation. Now, mind you, Red, growing up in the 80s, did not collect He-Man. So before you take me outside to flog or lynch, let me explain. I was a G.I. Joe collector. And I would mow lawns. I would do extra work in the afternoon and things like that. Run over, because I'm in Miami. And I don't want to give them too much promotion. But I would run over to a store called La Villa. And it was there on Flagler. And they had an amazing toy section. And I would run in there with my $8, and I would just buy the heck out of G.I. Joe stuff. Now, when He-Man came out, it was another toy. It was fantastic, but you have to realize that I had G.I. Joe, and G.I. Joe was even far more superior than the Star Wars toys that I had in the 70s because they came with extra articulation, knee articulation, accessories, arm articulation, and even arm swivels. So for $3, you're getting all that versus a Star Wars figure. He-Man didn't have that. He-Man just had articulation in the arms, no articulation in the legs, and waist that had like a spring so you could do a power punch. That's as far as what He-Man had back then. Now, why did I get this, guys? Because I remember seeing a documentary about He-Man, and the developer, the guy who created He-Man, he actually made his own He-Man figures with using some other toys back in the, I believe, early 70s or middle 70s. And he came up with the concept of He-Man because he was a huge fan of Conan. And I got this figure because I remember seeing that documentary and I was blown away by the concept art of He-Man. Guys, what we see on TV is not what the original concept was. The original concept of He-Man was at the same playing field as the comic version or story of Conan. It was very dark, very mythological, and things like that. So he wanted to take it a step further and wanted to include a magical world combined with science. Not that we didn't see that with Thundar the Barbarian. That was part of Thundar's stick. Now, I'm going to stop the camera and then refocus so I can show you the box because it doesn't fit on screen. So I'm going to stop it now. All right, guys. And you guys know that I don't do the whole box thing, but I had to do it to show you guys. But you guys can read up here that it's based off the classic concept. And that caught my attention when I was scrolling through Amazon to see what figure to buy. Yes, Mattel doesn't send me this, either does Mcfarlane. And I remember closing in on the box and reading the back of the box. And as you guys can see, you guys can read that there. And one of the things that shocked me was that Skeletor, they call it the Viking or the Barbarian series, but this is actually how He-Man was actually portrayed in the original pitch or concept. So you know what? I wanted this guy. All right, so I said to myself, I got to get this guy. I got to get this figure. Now, here's where I'm going to start comparing Look at this, guys. This is something I've been telling Mcfarlane. Your background screens are great. This came with the action figure, which I'm going to keep. It's got a background. I'm trying to keep every box diorama because that's how you save money by keeping these backgrounds for your photographies or for your stop motion. Now, I've showed you what the box. You guys know that I never do box things because that's not what we're here for. We're here for the action figure inside. Now, my complaint here is that I actually paid $11 for this guy. So a lot of people don't have this interest because they're going by what the cartoon. I'm I'm the first one to tell you guys that I don't go by Hollywood made unless everything is in line, maybe. I usually go by source materials. And I'm telling you, when I got a He-Man was because I believe I remember trading with a friend of mine, Philippe. I hope if you're out there, you remember me. Uh, a Cobra Commander, and he gave me a He-Man figure, and he gave me the comic book. And in the comic book, we're going to begin a little bit of the housekeeping, but just so you guys can take a look. He-Man and Skeletor shared a similar sword that, when combined, created the one single sword. So He-Man was already in his form in that. In the animation, they wanted to do like a superhero type of thing where the action figure had to cast a spell, which is, by the power of Grayskull, and that's how he turned in it. Now, I'm going to tell you this, guys. I remember that the sword that came with He-Man was actually smaller, and this just is fantastic, man. The way they sculpted this looks like the two swords are together into one, and that's fine because they're going with that new story. Um, so when I ordered this guy, I only paid $10 for him. But here's where I'm going to start saying the original price is $30. We all pay more than $30 when we're trying to get a Mcfarlane Gold label because that's what we like. And it doesn't even come with half of the cheddar that we're seeing. And when I say cheddar, look at everything that I got for $10, obviously because it was on sale. But if I would have paid the $30, I still would be happy. Alternative heads, hands, knives, an axe, and even the sword, the power sword. Uh, and not to mention, guys, the goodies don't stop there. I'm going to bring this close to you. They call it the Viking He-Man, but guys, I'm a history buff. Vikings never wore horns on their heads. That's just commercially done so you could signal out. Even the Nordic people will tell you that. But these things here, which I don't want to do, guys, in this episode, I don't want to bore you, but they do come off if you want to get the classic He-Man look without the pad. I saw a video about it, and this gauntlet does come off. Sad thing that I was looking at is that they should have painted these armors here the same as this gauntlet to be uniform, but they didn't, or they should have let this um, arm guard here or gauntlet be the same color as this. Guys, it has a feel of the original classic He-Man when it comes to articulation. You see this arm here? I can't even bring it all the way down. I tried before I did the video, but this arm here, I mean, this is what you get. You look like you're flexing your triceps, after you've done farmer's walks, or he looks like he's about to do farmer's walks. Oh, Red, you work out? Yes, I do. So I know my stuff. So we're going to begin with the housekeeping. As I do the housekeeping, because the episode is becoming a little bit longer and I'm sharing this history with you, let's take a look at the head here. And I like it because it's reminds me, if you haven't seen the 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas, the Vikings that are there kind of got that face there, the Scandinavian, Norwegian look to them. So they did a phenomenal job with the sculpt. As a matter of fact, guys, I even saw somebody's video where they did head swapping, and I'm probably going to take out this head and get the what is it, the Savage He-Man, or the Pharaoh He-Man, whatever he's called, and put that head. It gives it more of that old classic barbarian, and again, that's what He-Man was always all about, but they couldn't use that name because they would have been sued. So why don't we take off the Viking head for the moment, and it just pops off that easy. I love it. We're going to put this, and we're going to get that classic He-Man look without the helmet, and there you go. A lot of people don't like the sculpt, but you gotta roll with the times on it. Let's continue to look. you get this dagger, which is a very chunky dagger, but unfortunately, guys, you got to put it on. If not, your action figure is going to look wonky, and that's fine because I do love Conan, and Conan used every single weapon that he had in his book, and it just looks amazing. And just the fact that he has this. Now, the problem here is the articulation is not good, so how do I get to that knife? But again, that's just me thinking as an animator. We get these extra hands, and we'll swap those out in a little bit to take a look. Obviously, you get a fist hand, you get another figure hand, and then last but not least, I love the whole Viking thing. Reminds me of Thor with the axe. I actually, even though, sacrilege and you guys are going to raid my house, I prefer He-Man with the axe versus the, with the sword. I am a swords guy, but I do own a couple of combat axes, even tomahawks, and man, they're just brutal. They're just amazing. So look at that. And yes, guys, I've had those collections for a long time, my own personal collection. And recently I enrolled in HEMA, which is historical European martial arts, learning how to use the old sword play. So that's what inspired me also to get this. So we're going to take off the two hands, and I'm going to take off at least that hand goblet. And again, I saw how easy it was to swap, so let's see how easy it is here. Boom, just like that. Look at this. You can still take this off. And why don't we showcase him first without it? Let's put the slapping hand, which he's going to slap Skeletor with. And why don't we take the other, boom, weapon holding hand. There they are. So with that said, guys, let me take off the slapping hand. Let's put the other weapon holding hand. And there it is. And then let's take a look at what the weapons look like on him. We'll go ahead and put the sword on this hand. Now, mind you, I didn't blow dry the hands to make it soft, but hey, you know what? The sword did slide in there with no problem, and I'm assuming, obviously, there's only one hand left. We'll get that axe in there. And there you go. You guys want to see what he looks like in his Viking head? We'll pop that head off, put the helmet head on, and then last but not least, let me take off this, put the gauntlet back on. Now we've got a full battle He-Man. Oops. Now the articulation for this figure is a little weird, and we'll begin looking at it, but I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like. Now, I did see some other people do review of this figure, and guys, one guy forgot to mention, or at least two of them, but look at that. So you ride into with Battle Cat, and boom, you got that there. So why don't we begin the articulation so you guys can take a look. So with the articulation, the head does go side to side. However, you're not going to be able to get too much of looking up because the hairpiece in the back, you do get this much to look down. Like I said before, and you can get the arms up to here, but notice here, I can't seem to, and I don't want to force it. I don't want to break it. You do get a bicep swivel here. You do get double jointed. However, that's as far as the joint's going to go because, the bicep and the forearm get in the way. So you do get articulation in the hand. Okay. You get that there. You get a crunch there. You get a crunch here. And again, guys, I don't have a lot of Mattel, so I don't know a lot of their stuff, but I will tell you that for your price point, you're not only getting a thigh swivel, you're not getting much of a kick here, You're getting, you also get a double jointed knees, but again, that boot fur cover stops it there, and that's okay. You do get a little bit more, but you do have swivel here. You do have a rocker there with that, but you don't have any toe articulation. So overall, guys, for the price point, man, these figures will add value if you're a He-Man collector. If not, this will add value as another warrior at another time for your DC universe. Personally, I got it for my DC universe just to create that. Sorry, he's off camera. I'm just having a conversation with you guys. And wanted to get this figure, wanted to see the classic. I'm probably going to go ahead and order the Skeletor because it just reminds me of that classic. I am going to do a review of Trapjaw, so that you guys can wait for that on there. And truth be told, guys, I'm very happy with this. I'm very, very happy with this. Not to mention, guys, where I got sold on it was the fact that Justin did a stop motion recently of it, and it just impressed the hell out of me. Loved it. And at the end, they showed this figure, and I said, wait a minute, I got to get this guy. So, with that said, let me know what you guys think. Tell me if this is something you're going to add to your DC or Marvel world, or even your He-Man world. A lot of people don't like this. I got it for $10 or $11. You can't complain. I actually got it on Amazon for that price, originally $30. So I'm very pleased with what I got here. Let me know in the comments, guys. If you like today's show, please hit a like, hit the bell to get notified. And Red would love your faces even more if you subscribe. So with that said, I'm done with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. We're done with this review, so we are